There is a recipe, and it works. The pastor, the family, the parish lay leadership, as well as other clergy, is all that's needed. Each and every one of these elements, these parts of that person's lives, will lead them step by step to make the choice to serve the church, to serve God through the Armenian church. The role of the pastor is critical from day one. He is the one that can sense within that young man if the seed of the calling is being planted. The role of the parents, once that young man has been identified, encouraging them and supporting them is as critical. The lay leadership, encouraging with words, financial support, and finally that of other clergy, so that he has a sense of the largeness of our church and the kind of people that have served in the past and continue to serve, who will become the role models for him as he pursues this vocation. This recipe of pastor, family, parish lay leadership, and also other clergy is the answer to the development of vocations in our church. I am certain that if you interviewed every clergyman in our diocese, in one way or another, these four elements were present in their vocational development.
I have been asked many times in many places, especially by the young members of the Armenian Church, how did I feel God's call? I have always felt that calling from my childhood, starting in the city, in the town where I was born in Arapgir. And I remember when I was 16 years old, I heard that there was a priest from Jerusalem who came in order to recruit young men to go to the seminary of the Armenian Patriarchate in Jerusalem. So I went to my parents, to my mother, to my father, and I told them that I want to go to Jerusalem. Of course, for my parents, hearing their 16 years old son going far away was not something easy. But then my father turned and he told me, he said, "My son, for us as your parents, it's not easy to let you go far from home. But on the other side, we trust you." So in some way, they encouraged me, they gave their blessings for me to go to Jerusalem in order to prepare myself to answer God's call.
It's not so magical as one may think. It's not as if you're walking along the street and all of a sudden you're hit by a boulder or a bolt of lightning. It's really a process of people seeing something in the individual, planting the seed, nurturing it, and helping it to grow to the point where that person can make their own decision. And that's what happened to me. Many individuals, many clergy, many lay people helped me along, and finally I made my way to the seminary and graduated. Spent 2 years in Holy Echmiadzin, two terrific years that I will never forget, and to help me become the Armenian priest that I am today.
To really meet the needs of the Armenian people in North America, we have to prepare our own priests from among the generation that is born in the United States, who is very much at home in everything American or Canadian, so as to be able to minister to our people.
Are there young American Armenian young men that are being called by God? I think so. I believe that there are thousands of young men whom God is actively calling to serve as priests of the Armenian Church. The vast majority of them will never even hear the message. That's the reality. But some of them will. And from among those who do, a very few will be supported and will find within themselves that little mustard seed worth of faith to be able to step forward and say, I'm going to give this a try. I think this is where God may be leading me, and I'm going to give it a try. They're all around us.
We have to make it work. We have to contribute to the process. And I think critical to this is the local lay leadership in our parishes, who have many, many ways that they can support young men in the pursuit of their religious vocation. One is financial support, sending them to retreats and St. Narcissus. That's always very helpful when you're a young person. Also, spending time with them in discussion, commending them, giving them even more responsibility. The role of the lay leadership in the life of the seminary, in the life of the parishes, in the life of the candidates, and in the recruitment plan is absolutely critical.